Okay, in this lesson, we are going to be looking at ordering real numbers, placing them in order least to greatest, greatest to least, and also looking at irrational square roots, because this is about trying to put them on a number line. So the first point here, or the first few questions, are irrationals. Okay, this is what we call irrational square roots, meaning they are not a perfect square. An irrational square root is going to be a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal. So let's look at a couple of examples. Point A is the square root of 2. So on all of these, this is just calculator work. Pull up your radical, control x squared, that gives you your square root symbol. Type in 2 and press enter, and we get 1.41421. That's non-repeating, non-terminating, means it's going to keep going. The goal here is to just place it on a number line in the correct location. So we want it closest to the line on the number line that it would be nearest to. So 1.4142 is going to be closest to 1.5. This isn't about being perfect, and I'm just going to label it A. It's about getting it just in the closest point, in the closest location. Point B, square root of 17 is 4.12. So that's just a little bit more than 4. So I'm going to come over here, place a dot just a little bit bigger than 4, a little bit greater than 4, and graph point B. Okay, so this is calculator work. We want it closest. Just think, is it a little closer to 4 or a little closer to 4.5, a little bit closer to 5? Make sure it's on the right side or the left side of the line. Okay, if it's a little bit less than 4, you would be on the left side. A little bit more than 4 is on the right side. A little bit less than 4.5 is on the left. A little bit more is on the right. You're going to complete the rest of these on your own. The second section of the front page says name the point on the number line associated with each irrational number. So this is a similar activity. You're going to take the square root of 50. It is 7.07. So that's just a little bit more than 7. So I look at my number line. I see point E is just a little bit more than 7, a little bit to the right. So square root of 50 is point E. If I do the square root of 103, 10.14. So it's just a little bit more than 10. I come down here, I find point A. It's to the right of 10. It's just a little bit greater. And I'm going to write that letter next to it. Okay? Again, you are going to finish the rest of these. These are quick problems, guys. Take the square root and then find the point that it's a little bit greater than or a little bit less than. Now, on the back side, comparing and ordering, we just want to use less than or greater than. Guys, that's how they're written. So, calculator work. Square root of 32 is 5.66. If I round that, 5.66 is going to be greater than 5.1. Think of it as money. $5.10, $5.66. Guys, if it only has one decimal and you need more than one, add a 0 at the end. If we have two square roots, square root of 38 is 6.16. Square root of 42, 6.48. And then think of it as money. $6.16 is less than $6.48. Okay? You're going to finish comparing the rest of those. Remember, if it's a fraction, divide it. Control escape. Makes your answer a decimal. The last part here is order the numbers from least to greatest. So I want to show you the way I want you to do this. I want you to write the numbers on top of each other. Then change them all into decimal forms. So the square root of 16 is 4. 4.2 is already a decimal. 39 divided by 8. Remember, control, enter, 4.875. So to make these numbers all look the same, I'm going to add zeros so that they all have the same number of decimal places. And then you're going to go one column at a time. They all have a 4 in the first place. And the next one, 0, 2, 8. So least to greatest, square root of 16 is the smallest number. 4.2 is next. 39 over 8. It just happened to be the same order. It's not going to be that every time, guys. Let's look at number 34. I'm going to write the numbers on top of each other, meaning I'm writing them vertically. I want to take my square roots. Square root of 24. This is 4.89. Square root of 33. 5.74. And then 5.1 is already a decimal. I'm going to go ahead and add a 0 so they have the same number of decimal places. Least is the square root of 24. The next one is going to be 5.1. And then the greatest, 5.74, square root of 33. Okay? This is the method I want you to practice on all of these. Now we start getting 4 and 5 digits as we go down. That means you're comparing 4 or 5 numbers. I want you to write them on top of each other, change them all into decimal form, add zeros at the end if needed, and then just think about these numbers as money. Which one is the lowest amount of money and which one is the greatest amount of money? If you need help, raise your hand. Mr. Caribou or myself will be happy to come by and assist you and help you complete this task. When you finish, there is a half sheet of paper that goes along with it. Now, this one has a few other types of numbers on it. So when you are working these, just a couple of things to remember. If you're going to change a percent to a decimal, we are going to divide by 100. Or you just move the decimal 2 times to the right. Okay? Negative numbers. When we're looking at the negative numbers, guys, remember, bigger numbers equals a smaller value. It's the opposite. So if you think of a number as, for instance, a positive 3 1/4, negative 3 1/4 is on the opposite side of 0 on your number line. Negative 3 1/4 is going to be much, much smaller. So one thing you can do is, if all of the numbers are negative, just change them all to positive. If you change them all to positive and put them in order, least to greatest, then once you have them in order, to put them back in the negatives, guys, you take all of the numbers and reverse them. Do them the opposite order. Okay? If you need help on any of this stuff, guys, ask for help. Use a number line. There is a number line above the whiteboard at the front of the room. Use that to visualize it if you need to. Draw your own number line. When you're working on this half sheet of paper, guys, feel free to flip it over on the back and make number lines to help put these in order. Because what you've got is 2 lists, so you need to figure out which one is in the correct order. Okay? Which one is greatest to least? So you've got to check all these numbers to make sure they are all in the correct order. One of them is messed up. Which list is in order from least to greatest? You've got to check all of these. Well, one of them is messed up. So you're going to complete all the problems on these 2 pages and then complete this for a final assessment.